Welcome to the Crafty Mini in episode 9. We're finally going to get the Peppa Pig Peppa-Sothoth done. Right, so you'll notice that it's blue at the moment. So when I finished the sculpt and the clay dried, I painted it with a mix of Mod Podge, and there was just a bit of blue paint left in there from the old Showdown from Sally's model back in the pilot, and it's just dried a bit with the hard coat. So now what I'm doing is going in with a grey and then this pink flesh tone on top.
That is a bloody lovely colour.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
spot on, Sally.
like human.
But yeah, so this pink flesh tone, because obviously it's supposed to be like Peppa Pig, like the cartoon. And then we're going in, and then we're going to start adding just some random colours, mainly sort of oranges, reds, and this is all on the underside of areas. So I want it to be like as if the skin's really sore and pustule and you know, like really agitated and infected, because this thing will be like a big fleshy blob effectively. So I'm going with these same colours to do the inside of the mouth, and you can see here on the nose. Now some of these colours do change later on, but I'm glad I've done them, because when we add the final sort of layer of skin tone, you'll see that some of these colours come back through, like we did with the texture goblin at the start of the season. So I'm going in now, and the higher layers, this is where I'm going for the brighter flesh tone. If I go over the eyes and things, it's fine, because we'll go back in later and paint them. Now once that's done, I wash the entire thing with a Reikland Flesh Shade, which is like a skin-based wash you can get from GW, and that just goes all over the miniature, just to really mucky this down, and it'll actually accentuate all the things like the cracks that have naturally happened from the air dry clay, and all the bits of texture that I've added on when we actually made the model. Now some areas I go in with a little bit of green, just because I want that sort of disgusting factor with the flesh. And this is what we're doing now. So we're going in, just sort of picking out a few key areas, and then from there.
That looks bloody disgusting, does that? I've got to say, that is nasty.
Yeah, that's right, Sally. It's brilliant. Right, let's get this video done, yeah? Then we can have some fun. So now we're going to go and do the inside of the mouth. So I want this sort of really horrible red gaping maw, and same with all the little mouths that are around the flesh. Later on we'll add some UV resin or gloss paint just to make these look a bit more wet and slimy. So just going through now and painting all those in, and this is something that'll pop at the end, and it looks quite nice. So on the eyeballs, doing a bit of grey initially, because I didn't want like a fresh white eye. I wanted something quite sickly, because I knew I was going to do the irises like a purpley colour, which we'll see later on. And just finishing off now, and these eyes look, I'm really happy with them. The fact that they're just ball bearings, and it does work on a clay miniature this scale.
Ball bearings for the eyes. I think I figured it out, Crafty. It's because they're spherical, as are the eyes of humans. Right. Yep. So
with a bit of sort of bluey grey that's been left on the palette. I think they were from the HeroQuest models that we did earlier on in the season. So I'm going in now and painting the base, and then I sort of put flecks of a lighter grey on top, you'll see, and the idea is because I wanted to put a wash over this, some red and blue, because I always find just that sort of purpley tone works with Cosmic Horror, and it was just so that pops through the actual coloured wash. Now the final base, it does need a bit of a change, but we'll sort that out as and when. Now I'm going in with a red wash around the eyes and some of the mouth and the underside of the skin again. I just want to show that it's raw flesh and it's quite sickly looking, and just giving it a bit more character. And here we go on the base now. So blue wash, just a couple of drops from the bottle, paint it all over it, and you can see where the lighter grey is still actually coming through and showing a bit of texture on it. And then just a few dabs of red, and obviously that'll mix with the blue and go purpley, and I'll just leave that to settle now. It's quite a gross looking thing, to be honest. So now I had a bit of a change of mind. I felt it looked too dirty, so I went back in with the original flesh colour, and if you remember on the texture goblin, the way I feathered it onto the skin to add layers, this is basically what I'm doing now, and you'll see various transitions as we go around the model. So the paint goes on quite bright initially, but it dries a lot darker. So some areas will get 2 or 3 coats depending on where it is. If it's like a raised area, like above the nose there and the top of the head and the ears and things, that'll get a few more coats just to make it pop and be a bit more vibrant. But I basically go in and just feather the skin tone paint, and that darker undercoat with all the greens and the reds still does show through at the end. And where there's any sort of like the clay's cracked a little bit around some of the ball bearings, it looks like rust skin. So I go in and make sure those smaller bits get a few more layers, just so they make them pop a bit more. And you see here, I'm just feathering on. I'm going all over the miniature itself.
Crafty, I quite liked it when I did that commentary for skeletons. Can I do the next bit? Would that be alright?
Yeah, you can do the next bit if you want.
You sure you don't mind? Because
yeah, no, pray. I liked it, despite the argument we had. But over to you.
I quite liked it, and we got good feedback. So right, okay, sorry. So what we're doing here is we're getting skin colour and we're slapping it all over skin, like we did the shiny metally bits on the skeletons. And yeah, we're going round eyes with the fleshy tone.
That was brilliant. Well done, mate.
Look at that.
Nice one, Sally.
Cracking job.
So as mentioned earlier, so top of the head now. So this will get a few coats just so it's a lot brighter than the rest, and around the ears. There are some points where I felt it was too bright, and I do dull it down again with a little bit of wash. And then if I feel like it's still a bit too dark, I'll go back in with the skin tone. And the idea is just keep adding things, and if you need to wash it back, make it duller, then go back in. Keep doing it because it just all adds layers and textures to this thing when it's done. The skin pops, it looks nasty and unnerving, it looks mottled, and you know, it doesn't look natural.
It is, as you humans say, bloody disgusting, is that? It's vile.
And again, around these eye stalks, just going in on the raised areas, adding a bit more, and just making, especially around the eyes, making it pop a bit more, because when we come to paint those in completely and add some sort of bloodshot effects, it makes those pop. And again, I'm just, as you can see, just concentrating on the raised areas and anywhere that's facing upwards towards where natural light would be. And same with the mouth and the belly. Now the belly I want it to be a bit smoother, because I like the idea of it's this large sort of chunky gas bag that this thing is carrying as it's walking around. So I just go in and I keep adding, and I make sure it's the paint is not as feathered as the other parts of the body, so I want it quite smooth. So I just keep adding what they call glazes, which is basically you thin down your paint slightly, and you'll do 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 passes, but you get a much smoother texture from it. Now the back of this miniature now, where I'm actually painting, this is what's inspired me to do my idea for season 2. I just thought it's got a lot of character, considering it's just the tail with this one crooked eye and this sideward mouth. So I did have a bit of fun painting this, and you can see here the paint's going on. It's a lot clearer, like the initial colours not coming through as much. And then we're going in and painting the orange.
Weird monster eyes like mine, with the yellow and like the black slits, or are you doing something different with him?
No, we're going to do purple actually, Sally, I think. I like yours with when I did yours with the yellow and the black sort of like hash mark, it was nice, but these I'm going to go more of a human looking eye, I suppose is the best way to put it. So just going in, painting over now, getting these all white, and this is where the miniature, you can see now it's starting to come to life, starting to pop. And then we go in and just make sure it's a slightly off white, because again I do want that sickly sort of look to it, and I'll go in and dab a bit of extra in, just so the eyes aren't perfectly spherical, but make sure I'm not going right up to the edge, because I want that bottom layer to show through, as if like these are really like deep sunken eye sockets. And then we go for a purple iris. I just thought it was a nice colour, that it went well with the composition, all the reds and the blues on it. So purple iris is all over, and this is where you can have a bit of fun. If you've got multiple eyes, where you put the irises, you can make it look like it's looking in different directions. So have fun with it. If it looks a bit derpy, so be it. This all adds character to the piece at the end. So I'm going in now with a bit of bright red. I'm just adding a bit more bloodshot, not going around every single eye and all the way around, just a few dots here and there, and it just makes them punch a bit more. And same with the inside of the mouth, it's looking a bit flat at the moment, but if I highlight a few areas with this brighter red, and once it gets the gloss finish, it'll look really good. So pupils, dead simple, just a black dot in the middle, and this is when the character, it starts to like take form now. And each of these eyes is something that's watching in different directions, and it starts looking a bit more real and a bit more alive. So on the top areas now, you'll see I've gone in with the skin tone colour, added with a bit of white that I use for the eyes, just so it's a touch brighter. And I'm just going in now and just dry brushing on the raised areas, just to make it pop a little bit more. And there's certain things like the tentacles, I'm deliberately leaving them a bit darker because they're the bits, they're crawling all over the ground and things. And then, as we've done before, like we did with Sally, UV resin, get the UV torch on it, give it a blast, and then we do things like the inside of the mouth and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a really good method, this is.
Crafty, when this is done, right, it'll unlock the door.
Don't know what's happened.
Like I told you. Just don't be scared. You'll be alright, because I'm going to explain to it not to attack you, because, well, I like you. I'm your friend.
What do you mean?
Right? So don't worry. It'll all be good.
Done what?
I promise. Don't worry. As you see, right, I'm the herald to Peppa-Sothoth, and I've got to bring him through.
Don't understand.
So he can take over this realm, this plane of existence that you lot call Earth.
Hang on, you're telling me this thing's going to come to life?
Right, but look, just don't worry. It'll be fine. You're going to be kept safe, right? Look, it's nearly ready, and the gate's going to open. So just be careful, okay? Don't worry, I've got you.
Sally, that doesn't make sense. What's the gate? What are you on about?
Oh, that's really bad. Oh, Christ.
Ah!
No, bugger off. You leave him alone. No, he's my friend. I don't care if he's human. He's my friend. No.
Goodbye, Sally. You've served your purpose. This world will be mine.
What happened? I've fallen asleep at the... Oh, God. Let's get the light on. Oh, Christ, I've made a right mess. What the... Oh, my God. Sally?
I think I'm going to die.
Oh, God, Sally, no.
I can't feel my tentacles.
No.
I can't see out of all my eyes.
No.
Oh, it's really not good. Don't even think a cup of tea will fix this.
No, she's not winning this. No way. I'm going to keep you alive. I'm going to make you a new body. You'll see.